Hello, everyone. This is Pastor Frank Demora here, giving you a little bit of information about what happened last night and how it relates to the world circumstances. And what I'm talking about is the attack by Iran on Israel yesterday, when supposedly the number that we're hearing now is anywhere between 400 to 500 of those projectiles that were sent by Iran on Iran soil for the first time into Israel. And this has caused a great deal of chatter around the world and concern about a host of different issues. For one, rise in oil prices, rise in inflation, intensifying possibly a regional war in the Middle East. And if you know anything about Bible prophecy, you know that what's going on in the Middle East right now, we're seeing the roads set for two major prophecies. Number one, the Psalm 83 war, of which I've talked countless number of times on my websites, the prophecy sites, BibleProphecyMan.com and EndTimesResearchMinistry.com, as well as making the videos here at YouTube. The circumstance that we're looking at right now, definitely the earmarks of both of those wars. And while yesterday Iran was sending in their projectiles, we also found out that Hezbollah started to send in again their projectiles into Israel. And that looks like the northern section there that the Hezbollah are in Lebanon. That could be another one of the instances where that war will intensify as well. Now, when I say that the stepping stones, that's exactly what it is. We know that the war itself hasn't taken place because we need to see all of the enemies that are listed both in the Psalm 83 war and the Ezekiel war. They all have to come together in those two different attacks. But what we're seeing is the same exact people that are listed in those prophecies, both in Psalm 83 and in Ezekiel. Those are the enemies today of Israel. And what are they doing? They're saying the exact same thing that the prophet told us they would say. And what is that? Just read the information in the Bible. It says they're going to wipe out the nation of Israel so that their name doesn't even exist anymore. But the major news broadcasters, NBC, ABC, all of these people who are giving their 2 cents on, what's happening, I haven't heard one of them mention prophecy at all. Because if they did mention prophecy, they would have to relate exactly what the prophecy says. And the prophecy says that Israel's not going to be destroyed. Israel is going to take a hit. We know that. But Israel is not going to be destroyed. As a matter of fact, the Psalm 83 war, which is the war against Hezbollah, Hamas, the Palestinians that are in the Gaza, that will be the last war they have to fight. Because when the Ezekiel war takes place, and you see the Islamic nations coming against Israel, along with, by the way, Iran, we know from the scriptures that battle has taken place in the latter years, and also that Iran will be a participant, one of the many nations coming against Israel. But in that war, we're told by the Lord that he is going to fight that war. So the Israelis will be so outnumbered, there was no way possible that they can ever defeat that massive army. And we know that the United States, Canada, and Australia, who are the young lions that are mentioned in the Ezekiel war, they're not going to be able to do anything anyway because of the sheer numbers of people coming against the nation of Israel. You got to remember, it's going to be such a battle that when the Israelis look up, it's going to look like a cloud covering the land. What does that mean? It means so many aircraft that will be coming against Israel that because there are so many, it's going to look like a cloud. And that means a lot of aircraft. And so maybe the Israelis who don't know God, or any of the people anywhere else who don't know God, think that Israel is going to be destroyed. But for us who know the Bible and believe what we read and know that God is who he said, Israel is going to be standing at the end of that battle. As a matter of fact, what we're told in that battle is that from all of the people, we believe there'll be millions of Muslims coming down into that battle against Israel. Only 1/6 of the people who come down against Israel will be alive after that battle. So there's two things to take away from there. Number one, Israel's still going to be standing. And number two, that battle, the Ezekiel War, is not the Battle of Armageddon because nobody lives through that battle. So we know that there's definitely a difference. And I know that there's a lot of people who say that Ezekiel's war is the same as Armageddon, but it isn't. And so if you're going to watch the news, now we need to watch the response that Israel is going to have from those 400 to 500 projectiles, missiles and whatnot, cruise missiles and drones that were sent into Israel. What Israel's going to do. We do know that because of the labor pains that Jesus Christ told us to look for, this is what's happening now. And what you saw in the news about these drones that were launched from Iran, this is another one of those labor pains. And soon, just as a woman who is delivering a baby, the baby will be delivered and those labor pains will stop. And the good part about this is that will be the return of the Lord Jesus Christ. That's when all the labor pains stop. That's when we see peace of Jerusalem. If you read the scriptures, the Lord said, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And what is he saying there? Think about it. When is Israel, when is Jerusalem, that city, going to actually have full peace? It's going to happen when Jesus comes back, steps on the Mount of Olives, and walks in to that east gate that's been sealed up, as the prophecy says. He's going to go through that gate, the east gate, and he's going to sit down and be King of Kings and Lord of Lords. That's when Jerusalem will have peace. So if you're Jewish, if you're Christian, that's what we should be praying for, because the Lord is definitely coming back. And all of the signs show us, including all these labor pains, show us that it's very near. Please leave a comment. Send this YouTube video that I'm making to other people who don't know the Lord. Join with me as we watch the coming of the Lord and all of his signs that he has given to us. And we're seeing them in the news almost weekly now. Let's watch together and get excited. Not about the battles and people dying. We don't want to see people dying on either side. As a matter of fact, the Lord said, pray for your enemies. If you're an on-fire Christian, you shouldn't hate anybody, including your enemies. You should be praying for them. And we would hope that this would prevail both in Iran and Israel. So thanks for listening, and thanks for tuning in. And we'll be making some other videos soon as we watch developments, what happens in the Middle East. God bless you all.